I've said it once, I'll say it again. Damn, they got it good in the OCG. What's going on, you guys? Slim here to talk to you guys about the official OCG ban list that just dropped today. Man, I never really thought, I think I've said this before, that I would ever really cover the OCG, but lately I've been noticing, the way they do their ban list, the way they get predicted, the way that, they actually turn out to be real when people predict them. It's pretty crazy. And I always feel that there's implications that we can take from their list. We can just apply that over here to the TCG, and we can learn something. I've always said to you guys, utilize Yu-Gi-Oh! Organization. It's one of the best websites. It's one of the most helpful websites, and it gives us ideas and it lets us look into how they play in the OCG. Now, I know the formats are always different. I know they have Max C. Before anyone said anything, I know they have Max C. But there are a lot of things we can take from their ban list that we can apply over here to the TCG. There's things that we can take from their deck list that we can apply over here to the TCG. It's been done before, it'll be done again, and it's just something I think is just a really valuable resource. But yeah, so I'm going to go over the list. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what this means for their format and what this could potentially mean for our format here in the TCG. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. If you guys are new here to the channel, I have actually covered the OCG stuff before, and it'll probably be something we cover in future videos, as they turn out their ban list and we learn a lot of things from them. So yeah, if you're new here, consider subscribing, give the video a like if you enjoyed it, and yeah, we'll get into it. I have it up on my screen. So there were 3 forbidden cards. There was Eclipse Wyvern, Guard Dragon Argipane, and Soul Charge. So Eclipse Wyvern, it happened to us first. We had Eclipse Wyvern banned, and a lot of people were thrown off, but people realized, oh yeah, Eclipse Wyvern's crazy, being able to just banish it, being able to search Levianeer, being able to search, the prize card, being able to search, Diabolos at worst, being able to, kind of loop it with Pisty, being able to, get multiple Levianeers, multiple cards. You guys already know, in the Guard Dragon Link deck, especially out there in the OCG, card was insane. The card was absolutely insane, and they're basically just catching up with us here in the TCG. Argipane. So Argipane, I think throws a lot of people off. So this was predicted that this was the card that was going to actually be banned, and it ended up happening. So the person who predicted the list last time, for those of you who don't know, who predicted it last time, was correct for a second time in a row. It's pretty crazy. So whenever you hear from that resource, yeah, they're probably right. They have, I believe they go to the OCG a lot, so they know a lot of things. So very, very cool that they, actually were able to give us an idea, ahead of time of what was going to happen in the OCG. And it's kind of like a foreshadowing for what could happen here in the TCG. But yeah, Agripane. So a lot of people are thinking, why not LP? Why not LP? I know. We all thought, me too, I said they need to ban LP. That card starts everything. But one thing that I failed to mention about Agripane is that Agripane kind of breaks game mechanics. And what I mean by that is that Agripane just lets you bypass the whole kind of synchro summoning thing and just summon your Hot Red or your Crystal Wing or whatever it is you're summoning in the Guard Dragon combo. These days, it's always been Hot Red or Crystal Wing, depending on what you're trying to play. If you're trying to play around spell, just you're trying to play around evenly matched and stuff, or cards that can break your whole board, you summon Hot Red. If you're trying to play around monster effects like Nibiru and stuff, or other cards like that, you play Crystal Wing, etc. So the one thing that Agripane has done is it has broken the game mechanic. You no longer have to put in the extra monsters to synchro summon. You don't have to do any of that. Basically, you just activate Agripane and you summon from the extra deck. It's pretty crazy. So while I would still say LP would have been the correct hit, I can completely see why Agripane was the card they chose. Breaking game mechanics is pretty crazy. But yeah, I definitely think that that could be something that could possibly pass over here to the TCG. And when I'm done the whole list, we'll go over, what I think could happen here. But there was that, and then they finally banned Soul Charge. I have nothing else to say about them banning Soul Charge. Soul Charge was banned here. The card is insane. The card is a win button for so many decks. There's no reason that they shouldn't have banned Soul Charge. So all for that. So there was just those 3 cards that were banned. And then on to the limited. So these are the cards that went to 1. They hit White Dragon Wyva Buster, similar to what we did here in the TCG. However, they still have 3 Black Dragon Collapse Serpents. That's pretty crazy. So while we decided to knock out both dragons, they decided to just knock out Wyva Buster and keep Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, which means they're still going to have a lot of things they can do with the Black Dragon Collapse Serpent. Who knows if they'll actually play the ratio of 3-1? I think they probably will. I mean, it is a dark, being able to at least search the White Dragon is pretty crazy. So it's going to be nuts to see what they do with it, but I definitely could see them doing stuff like that with Black Dragon Collapse Serpent still being at 3, but they did hit the White Dragon Wyva Buster like we did. And they hit my baby Saryuja. Now, this is something, again, when we talk about it, I could definitely see it happening in the TCG. But yeah, they put Saryuja to 1. The reason is they just got Dangers. And you guys know, I've played Danger decks before. 3 Saryujas is pretty broken. And they actually had a video on their official website that talked about the Slash Draw FTK. For those of you that remember it, you guys remember, triple Saryuja, all the Dangers, draw your whole deck, Slash Draw, you win the game. It's pretty crazy. I think they put SlimYGO to 1 knowing that, they didn't want that kind of crazy deck, the kind of degenerate strategy in the OCG, so they handled it ahead of time. And it's something that, I could probably see them doing over here in the TCG. But yeah, SlimYGO is just too strong. I mean, it literally lets you draw 4, special summon, gain attack. I mean, the card does everything, so I definitely can see why that card went to 1. They also hit DracoNet. So DracoNet is like 1 card combo for the Dragon Link deck. I think they wanted to just lower the consistency. There were 3 of those. There were 3 Cyanide Minings. There were so many ways to get to DracoNet. And now the card at 1, it really does hinder the Guard Dragon, the Dragon Link deck, Agripane being banned and DracoNet going to 1. The deck has definitely lost a lot of steam. I'm sure they're still going to find a way to do things with it, but yeah, they hit DracoNet to 1. And then my favorite hit on this list is Mystic Mine to 1. We already said this card should have probably never existed. Them putting it to 1 is definitely the right call. 100%, no questions, no questions asked. That card definitely needed to go to 1. That card is one of the most unfair cards in the game, and I understand the decks that play it, why they play it, but at the end of the day, that card is still just over and beyond ridiculous for the game. So Mystic Mine to 1, and then they brought Zodiac Barrage to 1. Doesn't really matter. We have it, at 3 here in the TCG. I really don't think that's going to do anything, so that's not really anything I really want to talk about. And the last card they put to 1 was Dragonic Diagram. So yeah, they put Diagram to 1, so now I guess they get the Diagram options, since they do have, I can't remember what their exact Draco lineup is out there, but I know they hit a lot of cards in Draco before. Now with 1 Diagram, they might start to slowly experiment with it, but I don't really see too much happening with only 1 Diagram. But yeah, they brought it back to 1, so now there's something that they can do with the Draco cards. So that's neither here nor there. I mean, we have 3 here in the TCG, so yeah. On to the semi-limited, so these are the cards that are at 2. We have Shadow Mist. So Shadow Mist and Hero players out there are going crazy. I mean, they have 3 Stratos. Shadow Mist to 2 basically ups their consistency for doing their crazy shenanigans with the deck. I've played against Heroes now. I've seen how good they are. I've seen how the new cards. I think Fusion Destiny is one of the craziest cards I've ever seen. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Hero players do. They absolutely love Heroes in Japan, so I can't wait to see what they actually do with it. I'm actually super excited to see their list because I think it's going to be really cool to see what they decide to do going forward. They also put the Predaplant Scorpio to 2, so this is just a crazy card. This card searches any fusion in the game, and I mean, it's just nuts. I can definitely see them doing some crazy Wombo combo or just kind of really cool extension plays with this card. This card is just great, such a good starter. And I mean, yes, it can get ashed, yes, stuff like that can happen, but when it resolves, I mean, the card is insane. I played 60 card grass decks forever, and that card was one of the best cards to open. Lone Fire into it was so insane. So we can definitely see some crazy shenanigans happening in the OCG with that. They put Lady Debug to 2, so since they put Gazelle to 1, yeah, it kind of makes sense. They just, I guess if they want to see it more, if they want to open 1 card combo and it doesn't get stopped. Salamangreat, I mean, they did kind of take a hit out there, so kind of see what they're doing. Yeah, I don't really have too much to say. Also, Debug it 2 helps Cyber's decks. I think a lot of people forget about that because when you think of Lady Debug, all you think about is Salamangreat, but there's other Cyber decks in the Cyber's decks in the format, so we'll see if that does anything for those particular decks and not just Salamangreat. Also, Interrupted Kaiju Slumber, they brought that to 2. I guess they had it at 1? Did they have it at 1? I actually don't remember, but we have it here at 3. It randomly pops up in decks, so not really anything to report. But a crazy card they put to 2 is actually Spiral Resort. So we have not seen Resort at more than 1 in ages. Spirals are still pretty crazy. They're almost at full power in Japan, which is nuts. Spirals were tier 0 here in the TCG. If you guys remember during YCS Dallas of, was it 2017, whatever year it was? Yeah, they were bonkers. And to see them actually put Resort to 2 in Japan could possibly mean that they do it over here. We could definitely see a resurgence of Spirals. There's still a deck that pops up here and there and has actually won a regionals and has topped multiple regionals, so yeah, if that actually comes over here, it'd be pretty crazy. They put Reasoning to 2. That's a little scary. Reasoning and Infernoids are pretty damn scary, I'm not gonna lie. When that card was at 3, Infernoids were a deck. They really were. You could call whatever level, and I mean, they could just send a bunch of Infernoids and then they could just OTK you. It's pretty crazy, so keep an eye on the OCG and Infernoids, because it would be pretty nuts. I don't remember what their ratios are, if they still have snow at all or grass or whatever, but yeah, Reasoning at more than 1 is pretty scary. They put True Draco Face Off. That's actually pretty cool. Face Off at 2. Pendulum decks, they're might experiment with that, so we could see some definite definitely some changes in the Pendulum decks that they play out there, so that'll be interesting. And the last card that they put to 2 was 1 for 1, so that card's kind of weird at more than 1. I don't know how to feel about it, honestly, because I mean, I guess like for consistency for level ones, like I guess like there are some pretty crazy level ones out there. So being able to, you know, like tutor out things like Decatron or tutor out Glow Up Bulb or you know, just anything like that would be pretty crazy. 1-for-1 is just, I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about it because I don't think, have we ever had a 1-for-1 at more than one? I really don't remember. It's been a long time, but that's just an interesting call. I'm sure they're going to do some crazy shenanigans with that because I know some of the level ones they have out there can just like start the whole combos. So again, keep an eye on what they're going to do out there. And then lastly, the cards that all went to 3. They put ABC Dragon Buster to 3. So Japan abused the living hell out of ABCs. For those of you that don't know, they absolutely abused it when they had it. And now they have Buster Dragon back at 3. I don't know if it'll really do anything. We have ABCs. We've had them for so long here in the TCG, and I mean they have actually topped a couple regionals like lately, believe it or not, but consistently over like the whole like formats and whatnot, they haven't done too much. So it'll be interesting to see if that really does anything out in Japan and if it'll tutor over here to the TCG. But overall, I don't think that's really a big deal. But the thing that is crazy, they put Dark Arm to 3. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Is that even going to do anything? Dark Arm Dragon is one of the most iconic cards in the game. During Teledad, it built an entire format. I don't know, you know, it's not the same format. It's not the same way it was all those years ago. But best believe Dark Arm Dragon is going to do something. I don't know if it'll be top tier, but anytime there's more than one Dark Arm Dragon, and having it at 3 is just so insane. I remember the Teledad days, and my god, if they're gonna find a way to make Dark Arm Dragon work, like it's gonna be crazy. That card is nuts. Dropping multiple of them, being able to just pop, you know, 3 cards. If you drop all 3 and just OTK your opponent is crazy. Like I said, it may not be as consistent, but I just think it's crazy after all these years that Dark Arm Dragon, one of the most iconic cards for Teledad, the card that shaped Teledad format, is at 3 in Japan. If that happens over here, like that's crazy. They put TG Hyper Librarian to 3. That really doesn't matter. It didn't really do anything over here in TCG. I don't think it's going to do anything over there in OCG. They also put Trishula to 3. We were all scared of that when that happened, but it hasn't really done anything over here. I know there are some hand loop decks, but they're not really super consistent. You might see them at the regional level, maybe the locals level, but they haven't really done anything here at the like YCS at the higher level, so I don't really think that's a big deal. They also put Necros Cycle to 3. I don't really think that does anything either. Necros, you know, are kind of hit or miss. Like they do pop up every once in a while in the OCG. Same thing here in the TCG. It'll be interesting to see if they do anything, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think there's really that much of a difference. And then they put Limiter Removal to 3. That card is always scary. I'm just going to put it out there. That card is always scary when they, you know, put Limiter Removal out here at more than 1. And, you know, it just, people thought it was going to be used. They thought it was going to be used in Sky Strikers. And people did experiment with it, but they noticed overall it wasn't like super consistent. It did give you OTK potential, but it wasn't the most consistent card. So I don't really know if it's something that'll happen, that'll really like show up in the OCG. But they probably put it there because they feel like it's, you know, it's really hit or miss if people are actually going to play it or not in their decks. And lastly, this one is just, they put Solemn Strike to 3. So I'm pretty sure all the Solemns are at 3 out there. I could be wrong. I think they're all at 3. Like, don't they have 3 Warning, 3 Judgment, and now they have 3 Strikes? So does that mean they literally have all 9 Solemns? If that's true, that's actually insane. I know not every deck would play all 9 Solemns, but any trap-based deck might, because those cards literally say no to everything, so that's pretty crazy. But overall, that's the list. Now, what are my thoughts? Okay, the things I would take away from this is that as far as the forbidden cards go, for 2 out of the 3 we already have. I could see Agripane getting hit over here. I personally feel that LP is still the right card. Like I said, why Agripane got hit, I feel, is because it does bypass the game mechanics of, you know, synchro summoning and summoning, you know, big extra deck monsters. But I wouldn't be surprised if they hit Agripane here, if they decided to take a page out of the OCG and hit Agripane here, because either way, they're going to hit the Guard Dragon combo somewhere. They're not going to hit Pisty. They'll probably hit LP or Agripane, and I think, personally, again, I feel LP is the starter of everything, but if they do hit Agripane, that does take away a certain branch that they can go, so it'll be interesting to see what happens, but that is one thing I could say that we would definitely see over here, is one of the Guard Dragons, one of the 2, I would say, LP or Agripane will probably get touched here in the TCG. Limited wise, a lot of this has, I would like to actually see if they do hit Draconet, if they do hit Saryuja, that would be fair. Saryuja is crazy. It's been at 3 for so long. I know it hasn't really done too much lately, like, and I say that because most players have actually dropped to like 1 Saryuja in their deck because they're favoring Appaloosa as their link 4, but Saryuja is still a crazy card. Danger decks are still a thing, and yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I could probably see Saryuja possibly going to 1. I know it has the reprint in Dual Devastator, but same thing. Every time we think there's a reprint set, they can still hit cards. You just never know. Look what happened to the Baby Dragons. They reprinted them, and guess what? They went to 1, so you never really know. And I personally would like to see Mystic Mind go to 1 or none or 0. I'd be happy with that. I think a lot of players are with me on that. Again, that card should just not exist, but it is what it is. They put it to 1. It's way down in consistency, and then we won't see it as much. So, and we already have the outs to the card, but it's just to see it less. So I could definitely get behind that. Diagram. I don't think they're gonna hit Diagram out here in TCG. I just don't. I know True Dracos do a lot of things. Shout out to you, Slops. I know they do a lot of things, but they don't win a bunch of events. They do top a lot, but they don't go overboard. You know, True Draco just doesn't go overboard out here. The main thing that they win with is their floodgate. So I don't think Diagram is actually gonna get touched out here. Other stuff here. Honestly, like, I look at the rest of the list, and I don't know if they put Resort to 2, that'd be pretty crazy. Like, I talked about that, how they're almost at full power in Japan. If they brought Resort or any other Spiral cards up, we definitely see people messing with Spirals. There are always players who are messing with Spirals, and, you know, Spirals are good. Mix them with Dangers. Like, they just do crazy things. So anything to up that consistency could get pretty scary. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did, but hopefully they don't. And everything else, I don't really see them. I don't think they're gonna really do anything with. We already have Slumber. Reasoning, I hope they don't, because we have Monster Gate. I hope they don't do anything with that. 1 for 1 again, like I said, it's just, for me personally, now I could be wrong, you guys can comment down below, it's just weird to think of that card at more than 1. I know, it's just weird. I don't know why. Like, I don't think I ever remember a time that card was at more than 1, or if I did, I never played it at more than 1, so there's that. And then as far as everything else, Dark Arm Dragon at 3 would be kind of cool. I'm just saying, it would be kind of cool just because, you know, nostalgia Teledad days, you know how it is, and everything else doesn't really matter because we have pretty much everything else. We've always had Strike, we had Dragon Buster, we have all that stuff. So while this list is pretty crazy for the OCG, you know, it does change a lot of things in the format. There are, like I said, there are a couple things we can take away, and hopefully we do get some of the things that they do get over here. I've always said it, their formats are nuts. Again, they do have Max C, we don't have Max C, but who knows, maybe one day that will change. But overall, I think that some of these things can be taken away from here. Some of these ideas can be implemented over here in the TCG. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I think it's always good to keep up on these lists because I feel that they give us inside knowledge to what goes on out there and what could potentially happen here in our format. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know. Again, it'll be pretty crazy to see what happens. I think, you know, maybe this should be an idea, like, you know, to pick up some of these cards just in case, you know, extra 1-for-1s, extra cards like that, get rid of cards, you know, Guard Dragon Agripane. I mean, like I said, I don't know, it'll be one of the cards, but it'll be definitely interesting to see what happens. I think that, like, again, it's always good to look to the OCG for things that could happen here in the TCG. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. What do you guys think of the OCG format? Would you play in the OCG format? I know I would. I've said it many times. I say it again. I would always play in the OCG format. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.